paying attention very little, but one of the things that I did watch is all the fouls. Like, these throw each other to the ground. They poke each other in the eyes. Like, they do this. They literally jab each other in the eyes. It's crazy. Like, they foul, and also they travel so much.
Oh, it's crazy.
They take like 4 or 5 steps, and then no one calls them on it.
Oh, yeah. Double dribble, everything.
Is there a trend now to not call traveling?
Yes, without a doubt. Well, in the actual NBA, it's a thing too.
The WNBA is going that viral that now Joe Rogan is even speaking about the situation over Caitlin Clark basically being attacked every game by these WNBA refs. He spoke about the situation of how crazy they are acting in the WNBA and how they literally get away with everything. They see these fouls of flagrants. When they don't be giving out fragranced, I'm sorry, but it just doesn't happen that you've seen it with Alyssa Thomas over week, where she literally put her whole hands on Caitlin Clark's neck, and no, it's not supposed to be a suspension. Yeah, afterwards we'll deal with it. HWNBA has been basically talked about everywhere right now, but for all the wrong reasons, instead of it's being spoken about. How good it is basketball-wise, and how it's growing, and the viewership with Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin has not had a proactive approach around toxic fandom and what's appropriate for, or something that she celebrates or likes to see in her fan base, or being proactive against any type of hateful discourse around WNBA and its players. However, when she's been prompted, she has spoken very clearly on those matters and has taken a strong stance that none of that is acceptable. She doesn't back it, she is against it, and denounced it. So I think, this is where she has agency in how loud of an advocate she wants to be, how loud of an ally she wants to be for her fellow WNBA players, for her teammates, players, women that she's sharing the locker room, blood, sweat, and tears with. And, for the most part, are majority Black women, a number of people identify as LGBTQ. It's her choice, how she wants to participate as someone who's willing to say, I am them and they are me. And anything nasty is unacceptable. Anything hateful is unacceptable. And to do that on her own. And, that's hard. And I'm not sure it's fair to say that she has to, or that she needed to be ready this season.
For all the wrong reasons, in which everyone is attacking everyone, mostly Caitlin Clark getting away with it like it's nothing. Yeah, it's bad when even Joe Rogan is speaking against the league. Even Joe Rogan is speaking against the commissioner and how it's being run, and just the whole of WNBA and how bad it is right now in this moment, because it's genuinely terrible. What's going on right now is disgusting. And guess what? Caitlin Clark came out. She's broke her silence. She spoke about the incident for the first time. And this is why this girl is the face of a league. This is exactly why she's the face of the, instead of Caitlin Clark being angry about the situation, instead of her putting someone down and putting the other down and speaking about what's going on, instead she literally answers in the best way she could possibly answer. She knows what's going on. Sophie Cunningham comes out. She breaks her silence. She says it how she is.
Probably start. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions, and obviously I haven't been available for like a week or so. So first of all, I know what you guys are going to ask, and I did think it was a flagrant foul, and our reffing just needs to be better. And it's tough. Obviously the refs are in a really difficult spot. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world, in my opinion, is to make calls. All you do is get yelled at the whole time by everybody. You're never winning. So I think for us, as the league's just got to do better protecting our players in that regard. I don't really think that it was up for debate. Obviously, it wasn't called in real time. You go back and watch the clip. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of been a discussion for like 3 years now, and I think we really need to do a better job protecting the people in this league. And obviously I've been involved in a few of those plays, but there's been plenty others across the league that haven't got called. Go back and post game or whatever it is, teams submit clips, nothing really changes. So I think overall the league just has to do better, and we have to invest in those areas. The technology can get better. We can treat the referees a little bit better, pay them like they're full-time employees. I think things like that. And I think a lot has obviously come after that, and as I've stood up here and said before, like the harassment, the hate, none of that is okay. That goes for the opposing team we play, that goes for my teammates, that goes for my coaches. There should never be question of character. Like I've always stood up here and said that, and that's truly what I believe. That's how I was raised. So, none of that is okay, and I don't want anybody to ever experience that. I think it can be really frustrating to me at times, and I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people sometimes think I'm a robot. I'm not a robot.
Sophie Hilbert is not protecting her. They basically do whatever they want to Caitlin Clark. The WNBA refs do not care. They're not interested. But Caitlin Clark, still humble as ever, goes on about work like it's a normal day because yes. So that's what it is, right? She's used to this now. She's not going to come out and say, these refs are theirs because. We know that they're not going to change. They've been like it for the last years since you came into the league. It's not anything to do with, though, the physicality change in this league. You need to get used to point 22, 23 years of age, right? And she is quite literally the most professional person, answers the questions in the best way possible, a complete role model for anyone who's going into the league, who is facing adversity, because she deals with it so well. What do you guys think about this? Joe Rogan even coming out and speaking how bad the WNBA is getting.
I have emotions, I have feelings, and it can be really difficult to go through a lot of that. And, I'm 24 years old trying to navigate a lot. And I think at times I've been in this world for 4 years now, and you would never change any of it. But there are times that it is hard, and there are times that, it probably affects me a little bit more than I do put on. And, I would never change any of that for the world. But I think it's important that people do remember that part of it too. So, at the same time, it's really interesting to me because, even I turned the TV on Sunday, and that game was on Wednesday, and that's all people are still talking about. And I feel like that's just a real disservice to our league. And I get it. You talk about it. You talk about whether it's flagrant. You talk about whatever it is. But to continue to beat down, and then for the narrative to be taken other places that is really just that's just really not acceptable, I think it's hard to see, and it's a disservice to my team, but it's also a disservice to the other teams in this league and other players in this league. There's so much amazing talent, and there's so many amazing players that are playing at an incredibly high rate. And I remember, I think it was Sunday or Saturday, whatever day that was. I remember watching them discuss it on TV, and I didn't know they were going to discuss it. I was just watching the other games because I try to watch as much as I can, and I honestly felt bad for the players that were playing the games those days. And also, I feel bad for my teammates. They played on Friday, and they dominated, and they played really well, and nobody wanted to talk about that. They were just worried about everything else. So, and there had been, I think 10 plus other games that had already happened to that point. So, I think it's all of our jobs to help refocus the narratives a lot of the times, and we can do better at that. And I think it'll help our game grow a lot more. And that goes for obviously the Fever and whatever, but at the same time, you guys are here in this arena every time we play, and the amount of people that are passionate and love the game and respect the other team, and the young girls and the young boys that show up, we can't lose sight of that. And that's whether we're here at home and whether we're on the road. And there's a lot of really, really great people that love this league and love our organization, and I'm thankful to be here in an organization that has my back and will always stand up for me. And I think we can't ever lose sight of that. The joy and the fire and the fun, that's why you play this game. And I think it kind of goes back to a little bit of my frustration. I remember seeing a headline and I don't remember who wrote this, and I try to stay away from social media as much as I can, but sometimes it can be hard. I need to be aware of certain things, and obviously my team makes me aware of certain things. And it was the headline read this season has been everything but fun, and just full of frustration for Clark and the Fever. And I'm no one ever asked me that. Nobody ever asked me that. That's wrong. They're discuss my play. Discuss if I played bad. Discuss if I played good. Discuss our play. And at times I understand there's other things that need to be talked about. Great, whatever. But let's continue to move on, and things like that. And but I think just focusing on the joy and the amazing parts of this game, like I said, I think it's sometimes a disservice to not only our team but to everybody else. And let's get back to a lot more smiling and positivity. I think our world could use a lot of that. And then moving on, I know everybody's going to ask about my health. I will be out Sunday, but I'm feeling a lot better, excited to get back into practice today, and then feeling really, really positive about getting back into one of the games at the back-to-back. Obviously, difficult coming back in a back-to-back, so we'll have to be cautious of that, but I feel a lot better, and like I said, excited to get back into practice, and this week has been very helpful for my overall health. So
On everyone. It's not like college physicality changes in what we're choking people when we're doing that or what at league. Listen to what she has to say about how many games. 1.